All right, our friend Adam Holtz is here from Focus on the Family. He's plugged in, and he has got a review for us that you will only hear on the Reconnect. Let's start with the Christ podcast because, frankly, it's on the top of my list.
Yes. So I'm going to start with a confession. My confession is that all of the bad Christian movies I ever saw, like 20 or 30 years ago, they're still in there. And sometimes when I hear about a new Christian X or Y, I hold my breath a little bit. And I'm only confessing this because this is not where I'm going. And so I think that when I heard about this, I'm like, okay, I will take a listen and we'll see. Like I have professional skepticism, I have personal cynicism, all these isms come into play. Carmen, I was flat out blown away. And you guys have not paid me a promotional thing on the side to say that. That's my honest response. And I should have known, with Patricia Heaton and John Rhys Davies narrating. Honestly, listening to John Rhys Davies, I'm like, I just need to put the dude on retainer to come over and read stuff to me every night so I can get to sleep. I mean, it's just his voice was amazing. And Patricia Heaton's great too. But I think in addition to that, the way the telling of the story of the crucifixion is framed, and in what we learn about Jesus' life, I thought it was remarkable, and it really engaged me in a powerful way. And it's funny, even though I do radio with you and some other folks every week, we forget the power of audio drama. We've been so conditioned to think visually that just listening to something, it was a different experience. And listening to something dramatic, not just listening to talking heads like you and me blather on and on about whatever we happen to think. But
yeah, because
it's not
just voices.
It's not just voices. There's sound effects. It's produced. Now, here's the other thing that really, really surprised me. And I think this is significant and worth pondering. I found myself wincing at the sound effects. The sound of the scourge, the sound of Jesus responding to that, hitting his body. The sound of them hammering the nails in. Much more so, maybe even than the last time I saw a movie that depicted that. We watched Risen last year. I think that's the last time I've seen a movie that depicted that. And I found myself again marveling at how this particular art form really does impact us, because you can't not visualize it listening to those sounds. And I think that there is at least a slight bit of a warning's probably too strong, but if you're a parent of children, I think you might want to take a listen to it yourself first and really think through, are your kids ready for that? It reminded me in a distant way of the Passion of the Christ, which I saw once, and I will not be seeing again, not because it's not amazing, but because for me, once was enough. I don't need to see those images again. And it's not that graphic, and yet there's something about those sounds that invites us to visualize it in a way that's different than a movie. So I'm curious how you responded to that.
Like you, I was surprised at how deeply affected I was by listening.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a story or a storyline or characters with whom I'm unfamiliar.
Right,
And
exactly. We know this
and
story.
we know this story, and it is intimate, and I think that's part of the power
Yeah.
of listening, because
Yep.
it is an intimate experience. You're not
Yeah.
sitting in a theater with a bunch of other people. You
Right.
are, you've got your headphones on, or you're in your
Yep.
car, or right. It's a loner experience, and there's
Right. It was
something
very
about that.
personal.
It was
Yeah.
very personal. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good language for it. Yeah.
But I
Well,
think in terms of entertainment experiences, if I can classify it as entertainment, I think, man, we talk about a lot of stuff that ultimately doesn't have much redemptive purpose, but this is so far on the other end of the spectrum. I've been talking about it in my other radio interviews that I do each week because I've just been so taken by it.
Love that. Well, thank you. And
Yeah,
for
you
those
bet.
for those of you listening right now, you can find the Christ Podcast at thechristpodcast.com. You can also find it at myfaithradio.com. And there we've got a free downloadable devotional for you as well. This is something that we have invested in and we have been working on at Faith Media. And so would appreciate you becoming ambassadors of it to others. So Adam, thanks for reviewing it for us.
Yeah.